Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Ma'at, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
Hello, talk to me. All right, good. All right. Apparently this thing didn't operate. But I got you now. Can you guys hear me now? All right. So, I know you guys can. So today, of course, is going to be a special episode. We're going to talk about nationalism. I'm also going to try to rush a little bit because I got some obligations and all that stuff. But first three, give up to four numbers. The first number between 1 and 70. The next three, the three next between 1 and 16. Okay. So while y'all doing that, though, I want to show you guys something. Like I said, I've been working on my Swahili game. I don't know if you guys remembered. I've been working on the Swahili game. Actually, before we do that, let me remind you guys that I'm part of a podcasting network on KWAZ Radio.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
So check this out. Before we get started, I want to show y'all what I've been working on. Obviously, it's a tentative title. This is just, it's kind of like one of those, paid for by, what I'm saying? But it's not really. So basically, this is it. You play Swahili. And then I just want y'all to hear the music, though, because this is like, what I don't know what this means. I'll maybe see you later, right? Yeah. Y'all hear the music, though? All right. Hold on a second. Let's see. This is See You Tomorrow. And if you get it wrong, the music gets worse. So I'll show y'all. I'll just show y'all. Like it starts sounding like a heartbeat, and then it just stops. All right. But anyway, let me show y'all this. I'm gonna go through this quickly because we got a lot to cover. I don't remember everything here. No, I'll tell y'all. Asante. But here when it comes up though, I want y'all to hear this though, because I'm like super stoked about this. And I made it just a small cycle of words. Soon it's going to be like, you see level 1, level 2. Oh, I did the wrong one. This is embarrassing. Let's see you tomorrow? Yeah. I'm trying to talk and this is at the same time. Hear this. You see it coming up? Like you just start dancing as soon as Y'all hear this though? Y'all liking this or what? Can y'all hear it though? Oh shit! I'm just trying to pay attention. What's this? See you soon, lady?
Pull up.
You hear that?
Pull up. Pull up.
Maybe this way.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Yo, tell me that's not tight. And then then we start advancing. All right. Let me stop now. Let me stop now. All right, bet. Anyway, so let's go back to the thing. We're gonna talk about quite a few issues. But y'all can see that, yeah, you see harsh reality right there, like, all right, yeah, man, just starts beating, yo. All right, let me stop. All right, so anyway, that's my my little thing. I'm obviously gonna add more words and make different modes and all that kind of stuff. I was just editing the last bit for whatever, but today, yeah, we're gonna try to go quick. Today we just got a few things going right now. All right. So we're going to start off with this story. This story is not as big. I mean, the big story is going to be on religion, as well as obviously this Buffalo shooting. And, there's not really much to say about it. I actually just saw the video. Y'all in trouble. I don't know if y'all noticed, but y'all in trouble. This white boy, he was going through this mall, shooting a bunch of black folk, more or less. And he almost shot a white boy, and white boy said, "No!" And the guy said, "Oh, sorry." So... just bear in mind that, these white folk is ready. And also I just came across somebody, I just came across this thing that he has on it. It's called like 14 words, and it's low key poetic. There's two different interpretations. The first interpretation is something like, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children," right? Which is, all right, poetic. But then there's the next one, which is like, yeah, these white boys, they're not playing, right? The next one is, "Because the beauty of the white Aryan woman must not perish from the earth." Okay? So, they are motivated. They are motivated. And you have to come to terms with this, whereas what we're dealing with, see, what happens is this. They can do a whole program on the enemies without. And I could do a whole program on the enemies within, and that's a problem. Not to say that I can't do a program on the enemies without, but the reality is this, that I shouldn't be able to do a whole program on the enemies within. Like, this shouldn't be a series. This shouldn't be a series, but it is. And it's an ongoing series. It's a weekly series. Replete. Every week. I got to start cutting off stuff. In fact, just now, I found out that one of the links I had was deleted by, actually two of the links I had were deleted by some people. That's how serious, we have to, this is how serious we got to be. Because if they start rolling up, I'm telling you, man, y'all in trouble. But anyway, look at this. This is 250 racks to America. Y'all getting free. So if y'all don't know, y'all know this story. Actually, hold on a second. Let me just double check something. Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, did anybody say anything about the music? No, I'm a bookman says yeah, it sounds good, but that's the other thing. Let me just double check that I don't have yeah, all right. So here it goes. So black folk move heaven and earth to save other people, groups of people. So this is the Ghana's dancing pallbearers sell viral meme as NFT for $1 million and donate $250,000 to Ukraine charity. We're just going to start off with this. This is the reality of where we are mentally as a people. Because if you don't understand, one thing you got to figure out. In fact, I think this might be my last retweet, matter of fact. So I'm just going to make sure y'all follow Oni on social media, Onitaset. Make sure y'all follow. I think this is my last retweet. No. Okay, my last retweet was this stuff. But this right here. So this is the guy who was shooting up. This is the Buffalo shooter. The 14 words, killing black folk, and then what was it? Killing black folk and then apologizing to a white boy for almost shooting him. Okay? And you understand that when police review the video, they say, oh, this guy's still humane. This guy's still good for society. You understand? Because they say to themselves, oh, okay, it wasn't just a random killing. It was just, you just killing niggas. You're free to go. And I want you to understand this too. See, I shouldn't have to tell you that police stopped him. I shouldn't have to tell you that he turned himself into the police. That doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody's actively targeting you, and his own people stop him. You understand? It's like this. If I roll up in one of y'all houses and I start beating everybody up, and then my brother comes over and says, come on, Oni, get out of here, man. You can't do that. And he carries me away. Right? What the fuck's wrong with your family? Why nobody in your family stop me? Why nobody in your household stop me? But here's what I want you to understand. So they donated $250,000 to this guy who has the same damn vision and ideology as this guy. Same damn radicalism. We're talking the same damn radicalism. You're talking the same damn, I'm going to walk up in the grocery store if there's black folk there and shoot them. Because I got to protect the Aryan people in Ukraine. And that's where these people are going. And you know, you might say to yourself, well, shocker, I'm surprised. But you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Here's, actually, I shouldn't even play it. But basically, if you look at their videos, this is a video of their TikTok memes or whatever. If you look at their video, you'll see that a lot of times they're waving the American flag. They're in the middle of Ghana. A lot of times they waving the American flag. I'm not even going to waste my time playing it because, you know, who gives a shit. But this is somebody else, right? So this is somebody else. So basically, you guys look into those guys if you want to. They're basically dancing with a coffin, but they're waving the American flag in the middle of Ghana. They're not even Americans. And this is the reality that we had to, like I said, like you can't, like I said, I shouldn't be able to do a program on this. I don't want to do a program on this. You know, last night we were on the Bit of Medicine podcast, Shoot the Breeze. We was talking about polygamy, and so on and so forth. And you know that's where I could, you know, and I was, you know, against, they were for, and you know, they were calling me simp and all that, whatever, right? But like, but you know, that's a good program. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be talking about no enemies within. I should have to tell you, oh yeah, you know, these people gave $250,000 to Ukraine, to the people who to the ideology that is trying to terrorize Africans globally. I should have to tell you the people in the middle of Ghana are dancing with an American flag. I should have to tell you that. Anyway, let's keep going, though. Let me see how the chat is, though. By the way, I appreciate everybody. You know, peace to the chat. Let me just say who's here. Harsh Reality Podcast is here. I'm a Bookman is here. Lero says, is it too late for the numbers? I want to give mine. Lero got the lotteries, 32, 8, and 14. So make sure y'all check out. I want 2 more people to chip in. But, Lero, did you catch the Swahili? That Swahili game? You should have catched that. We was dancing. But anyway, so there's we gonna wait for 2 more people to get some numbers, and then we're gonna see how it could mix together. But here's this, right? So this brother right here, AJ, I guess, he goes, another $40 billion in aid to Ukraine. The message is very clear. And then some dude comes in. It's not that simple, brother. I had the same reaction initially, but the world is interconnected in complicated ways. For example, like it or not, Ukraine accounts for about 10% of the world's wheat and supplies large quantities of irreplaceable grain to many African states. You hear this? Right, brother. Not surprising. Not even for the strategic rationale for giving Ukraine that status. Until the dissolution of the Soviet Union at the end of the 1991, Ukraine was nothing more than a constituent part of the totalitarian state. Commodity prices are about to go through the roof in about 10 African countries as a result. Globalization is a hell of a drug. Now, this is the thing. It's like this is the issue. Like, the enemies within goes very deep. It's not simply because white people could say, hey, I got some, N-word lovers. They could say that. But they can't say, we cannot, like, we have to stand behind an African leader of his own choosing. We have to stand behind an independent African leader. Or we have to stand behind an independent African force because we are dependent on them. White boy can't say that. He could say, "Oh yeah, I got misogynists, I got cucks, I got this, I got all these sort of enemies within. I got women who want to abort their babies. I got this, I got that, so on and so forth." He could say all that, but he can't tell you that he's losing, that he's dependent on these Africans being independent. This is what this black man's telling you. We are dependent on these white boys being independent. And that's systemic. That's above and beyond what he's telling you. That's telling you that over in Africa, you got black leaders who are like, hey, you know what? They feeding us. He who feeds you controls you. They feeding us. We're sick. We're sick, But let's go to the next one. We're just trying to go through. Yeah, this one's a little bit funny. It's like this one. We're just gonna go over it. I said it's gonna be light, and I realized he also allegedly, he lights again apparently. And he gonna let you know. Oh, they deleted it. Bomba clot. All right. So anyway, if y'all didn't check it, this was a video of some dude who said that Motel 6 was discriminated against him because he light skinned or something. Or because he mulatto. Because he mixed. And then, But the thing is that, realistically speaking, he was mixed, But of course, it comes back to this right here where the enemies within, no disrespect to Umar Johnson, but enemies within is that you have to recognize that if a person just says they mixed, believe them. It's like that lady, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou says she's mixed, right? I know. Sorry, Maya Angelou. She didn't say she's mixed. Sorry, Maya Angelou says when a person tells you who they are, believe them the first time. Oh, okay. So what happens is the lady made her account private, right? But when a person tells you who they are, believe them the first time, right? The mixed man says that he's other. Like basically, he goes up to a Motel 6. He's trying to get a room, right? And what happens is that apparently they get his room wrong, and so then they give him a refund or something like that. And he's like, "Why are you guys, discriminating against me? Is it because I'm mixed?" And so on and so forth. And the black lady behind the counter is like, "What?" But the thing is that realistically, that's an expression. I mean, that's something that if you actually had your African like if you had your African wherewithal, you might even go as far as to say he's white. I want y'all to go back to this interview Trevor Noah did with his grandmother, right? So his grandmother's classic black woman in South Africa, right? But obviously her daughter messed with a white man, and so that made Trevor Noah. And so Trevor Noah's growing up, and he's like, "Hey, man, I remember when I was a kid and all these kids used to call me white." And she's like, "Yeah, but you are white." And he's like, "No, I'm not white. Look at this white guy over here. He's white. I'm black just like you." And she's like, "No." And it just reminded me, because I had the opportunity to read that before I wrote my last book. And it just reminded me that, our impression in the West of race relations comes from or stems from our Eurocentrism in a sense. So we kind of look at the other as black, even though were black, right? But that's not going to extend when you're in Africa if you're in an Afrocentric kind of paradigm. You understand? Or an African-centered type of paradigm, in the sense that you're now going to look at the other as European, the foreigner as European. And so the grandmother who's born and raised in an African culture, she's going to look at even her grandson as other, as foreign. But check out what Umar is saying.
I'm half black. Ain't no such thing as half black. You don't mix white milk with chocolate milk and get half chocolate milk. When you ever see half chocolate milk? What kind of milk is this? It's half chocolate. Ain't no such thing as half chocolate. It's either chocolate or it ain't. It's either chocolate or I'm half black. Ain't no such thing as.
I don't know if that sound interrupted it, but, you know, basically he's like, there's no such thing as half chocolate milk. It's either chocolate or it ain't. Now, again, you know, these are the kind of, you know, logical fallacies that, you know, you really have to avoid, you know, because you're talking about chocolate milk, you know. You know, chocolate milk, which is already chocolate and milk, you know. So, you know, like you know what I mean? Like, it's already the biracial, if you will. You know, it's not chocolate. You know, it ain't milk, but it's chocolate milk. But either way, yeah, this is thing we gotta, like, we just gotta come to terms with this. And the reality is that because we don't come to terms with it, what happens is, you know, it leads us to problems. Now, you might say, well, look, Marcus Garvey kind of had the same mentality, and Garvey, you know, for what it's worth, I mean, like, for what it's worth, Garvey was betrayed by these people, like countless times. And the thing is that, you know, realistically, our issues that we're in the West, and in the West, it makes a little more sense to ally with mixed people. But at the same time, it also makes a lot of sense to just keep them as mixed people. You know, that's another thing that, you know, you can't just necessarily say, oh, well, because they might be the most suited, like they might be a suitable ally in the Western Hemisphere, that makes them one of you, you know, because like technically you could say Latina could be a suitable ally. I mean, not really, but you could say that. But that doesn't mean that they're black, you know, or you could say the Asian, you could say the poor whites, whatever you want to, you know, if you want to say that, but you just don't necessarily extend that to say that they're your identity too. That's where you kind of screw up. Anyway, let me see what the chat's like. I know Lero's asking for some music, but that's the last thing I saw. Harsh Yali said, what's the numbers about? Oh, the numbers is, we got to do some original music. By the way, I got 0 likes on this video. What happened? Y'all don't like this? Alma Boatman says, I have had several conversations with continental African people, and they would ask about the mixed person, and I would not know who they were talking about. Who are they talking about? I've had several with continental African people, and they would ask about the mixed person, and I would not know who they were talking about. Yeah. I mean, like we in the West, like we kind of, unfortunately, you know, like our sense of the phenotype of African people has dwindled because of, you know, just the ramifications of a lot of interbreeding in the West. Lero says, nah, last week's beat went crazy. I need that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, wait, are these the same numbers from last week? Are you? No, that's not the same letter. I think your number originally was like it couldn't work out. But all right. What's the other thing? Oh yeah. So now this is just gonna be. This is even important. Basically, he may be an idiot, but he's a good salesman. This is basically your boy Tariq Nasheed. This is another one. Like I want y'all to not realize, like, this guy's a good salesman, you know? And that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, you got a lot of good salesmen.
Officialfba.com. This is going to, you should.
So basically, the FBA cult leaders are giving an explanation of the FBA flag by their leader. The white background represents white supremacy lurking in the background.
Have this in your vehicle. You can get this at officialfba.com. This is going to let you know who the other riders are based on your lineage. Okay, now the 3 stars you see on the top of the flag, okay, it represents the 3 groups who make up foundational Black Americans, okay? Number 1, the Black Aboriginal people who are already here. That's 1. This is why they were calling people Indio, Negro, Moor, Ethiopian. They were saying all of this stuff about the people they saw because a lot of the people here looked like regular Black people. The second group that would come here to North America were the Black explorers who looked like us, who would come over from Africa, who would come over from Spain. The Moors would come over here. They have these, I don't want to say primitive, but these maps that showed this part of the world in the 10th century. And again, this is why the Moors knew how to tell the Spanish what was over here. When they came here, they said they were looking for gold. If they were looking for gold, somebody must have told them the gold was here. Who told them? It was the Moors. And then the third group that makes up foundational Black Americans are the African people who came in captivity. We got to put it all together. We've been here for all 3 groups.
But y'all see, just notice how he kind of like brushed over that. You got to play to your audience. You got to play to your crowd.
What was over here? And then the third group that makes up foundational Black Americans are the African people who came in captivity. We got to put it all together. We've been here for all 3 groups amalgamating together for 500 years. So there's a mixture there. The white background, that represents systematic white supremacy lurking in the background at all times.
Now, and see, that's another thing that you got to realize too. So what I want y'all to realize is that when he was doing the description, he had to justify everything that was wrong. He had to have a logical argument for everything that was wrong, right? And what he did later was he had to justify everything that was wrong, and then he kind of just brushed over what was right, you know. So it's like, hey, we are really, the Indio. The reason why we are the copper-colored Aboriginals is because the Indio, blah blah blah. But then when it came to African people, he was like, yeah, there's Africans here too. The indisputable fact. That's really important. But again, like I said, he may be an idiot, but like for what it's worth, he has good salesman qualities, and I think that's something that we kind of undermine in the African community. Which is that realistically, realistically, we have to we have to just put into perspective that a lot of our people would be pretty darn useful if they weren't selling out, and that's actually one of the issues, one of the troubles with us as a people is that this kind of individual, right, you would want to use him, right? And that's where you will get into trouble. Like yesterday we were talking about this, like I said, with the polygamy conversation, I accidentally didn't fully articulate that this, the dude who was like the dude who was in the polygamous relationship was kind of a manipulator, but I put it out to say that he was a manipulator, not really like all polygamists are. But I was misinterpreted as saying that all polygamists were, but it's not what I was saying. But what I was saying is that when you look at, like, you can read a certain person, how their body moves, how they articulate themselves, and you could see how their character, like how they operate. They operate on this low logic kind of vibe. Kind of like what Umar was doing with the, oh, you can't get half chocolate milk. And then so you will convince people that, yeah, you're right. Chocolate milk, I'm basically chocolate milk, and white people are white milk. White people are just milk. And so there's no such thing as half chocolate milk. As opposed to, the more logical thing, which, well, none of it's logical, but the more logical thing of saying I'm chocolate, and white person is thing, and then the mixed person is chocolate milk, right? But that's the kind of arena that we're in. So you see that there's this, there's basically the slightly more intelligent African, right? And how do they get by? They get by convincing other people that they are much more intelligent, or much more informed by just dropping a few words, a few hints. But it is what it is. KW on 7 says, Kofi says greetings. So greetings to Kofi. KW on 7 says, Mink Slide claims that FBA is indigenous to USA, but the Clovis people are indigenous to North America. It's tomfoolery, confusion, and nonsense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all to get the bag. It's all to get the bag. At the Harshiality says, you got to be an idiot to take Mink Slide seriously. Salute to him and the other grifters for exposing who not to build with. Weak-minded and gullible. Yeah, I mean, it's all about getting the bag with this guy, and that's the trouble. It's like, we as African people, we want, what they call charming, intelligent, wise people, if you will, right? We want people who can reach the masses, reach the kind of like, almost like reach the weak-minded and gullible. But that's the trouble. That's where it gets into it. It's like, who can't reach the weak-minded and gullible? Like, who can't? I mean, if and that's the thing. It's like, do you want to reach the weak-minded and gullible just to reach them, or do you want to reach the weak-minded and gullible to transform your economic reality, right? Because if you're trying to transform the economic reality, that's a whole different conversation. But like, Cardi B reaches the weak-minded and gullible. Megan Thee Stallion. We're gonna talk about YSL too. So, Future or whatever their names are, I don't know. But they reached the weak-minded and gullible. The reason why, the weak-minded and gullible are not looking for what you're looking for. They're looking for, they're looking to feel good about themselves. Like, that's the thing that I don't do. I don't look to make y'all feel good in America. I don't do that. So I could easily be like, hey, you guys built America and you're owed reparations. You're going to get reparations and all we got to do. Like, I could do that. I could say that. But one, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't feel like there's any reason for me to tell you that, because I don't want you to walk away from a conversation with me thinking that, shit's gonna get good for you. Thinking that you could go shopping in Buffalo and you ain't gonna be gunned down by some boy. I don't want to do that to you. Cause see, you never know. But if you look at this video, I mean, you never know. But some of these black folk could have been, in their minds, damn immigrants coming at me, and then this white boy just shoots them in the head, dead. You don't even see the enemy coming. And I mean, granted, he started shooting pretty quickly, so it's not like, you're gonna see him a mile away. But like we have to be real. We have to be real. Like, you don't want to go away in that sense. So anyway, so now we're gonna start talking about some religion. All right, we're gonna start talking about religion. I want y'all to understand that. Like, I'm going to have to come to terms. By the way, I need some more numbers, family. I need some more numbers. Let me just repeat what the number prompt was, because this should have some background music. This should have some background music. But it's give up 4 numbers, up to 4 numbers. The first numbers between 1 and 70. and up to 3 between 1 and 16. So I'm going to repeat that in the chat. I realize I don't have no music here, and it's just like, why am I not bopping? Like, why am I not bopping? I want y'all to understand about this religious stuff, okay? What that means when religions say, nah, they kill the chief. Yeah. So what that mean when they religions say, nah, they kill the chief, they kill the imams, they kill the rabbis, they'll kill the priests. They'll kill the priests. What you think Bookman was, right? So, you know, shout out to I'm a Bookman, but you know, this Bookman from Haiti, you know, and Bookman, you know, the Bookman, right? They killed him, you know? I want you to understand that every nation, I mean, every religion is like a pseudo nation, you know? Every religion is a pseudo nation. And I think like, let's see what this is about. So this is me. Yeah. So Hebrew, people don't understand when discussing nationalism that you're also discussing legislating over religion. So this is Jess, and she's saying the Hebrew Israelites in allowing pedophilia. And I think we're actually going to have a longer conversation on the age of consent a little later. You know, people don't like how I come about with a secular, you know, scientific point of view in a sense, right? Because, you know, they you know how we are, right? But you have to realize that it's like a lot of what we think about the quote unquote age of consent derives from one of two sources, you know, either religion or science. You see, it's either religion or science. And so basically, this woman, she's 30 years old and she has a 13-year-old daughter, and she gave her over to a 47-year-old man, right? No, she's facing 30 years because this 43-year-old gave her 13-year-old daughter to a 47-year-old man, right? Under the pretext of religion. Okay? Now, normally you would say, well, why don't this, you know, she's not, she's not like unattractive per se, right? But normally you would think this 43-year-old would marry this 47-year-old, you know, and then, you know, the daughter could go about her life, you know, and have a father or what have you, right? But what you see is the 43-year-old, and I mean, they don't mention the father, but the 43-year-old is going to give her daughter over to a 47-year-old man. And this right here is only, like, you could only really do anything about this with a nation. That's what I want you to understand. You could only really do something about this with a nation. Because essentially, it is their religious freedom. You understand? Because essentially, like, if we're being realistic, a lot of these religions, a lot of these religious figures, what they do is they support this sort of, if you will, pedophilia. Some people might even say ephebophilia, right? But it supports this. And the only counter argument you have towards this quote unquote age of consent, right, is either religious or scientific. You understand? And that's where the trouble begins. That's where the trouble of the human species begins, because essentially it's not necessarily set in stone what this quote unquote age of consent is. It's not necessarily set in stone that what this lady is doing is wrong. The only thing that could make it seem wrong is whether the nation disagrees with it. And so this is why I keep telling you, you want to empower yourself to form a national structure. Because if you do not form a national structure, the reality is that you realistically speaking don't even have an opinion on this. Or more to the point, you can't do anything about it. If you're living in like one of those deeply Muslim countries, this isn't even bat an eye at. This isn't even awkward. 43-year-old man, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, that's in their book. You understand? And so, the conversation becomes a certain way. And what's more, I want you to understand is that we're going to talk about this age of consent stuff, and we're going to actually see that a lot of times we got boys and girls who are pursued by older people. And it's like, what are you going to do about it? If you don't develop a national structure, what are you going to do about it? So we got some more numbers, 33, 7, 6, and 4. Oh, dang. Okay. Real Black Gentleman did it before Kofi. So we're just going to do 23, 9, 2, and 6. So we got the first three. Harshiali says, yup, grifting is lucrative. We could be rich if this thing called a conscience didn't get in the way. Yeah, I mean, like, that's what happens with what's his name? Mink, right? Is that he was like a pimp. But when you're a pimp, you don't need a conscience. You don't need a conscience, and that's really what it comes down to. So anyway, we're gonna tune into some like we're gonna see what the beats are like from the fam. We got our first three. So let's see what it's like. We're gonna first enter in what let's just take off. Let's clear this pattern, this older pattern that we had before. It's not the same pattern from last week, so don't worry. I don't think that I'm doing some crime. We're gonna have 32, 8, and 14 from Lero. So we're gonna put in a 30 right here. So this is my step sequencer. Let's see what 30 sounds like. Oh no, that's not a good one, but all right. Like that's like one of them you don't do more than one, but we're gonna see what it sounds like. 2, 8, and 14 from Lero. Let's see. 2, we're gonna go to 8, and then we're gonna go to 14, right? And then let's see who's next. Let's see. So then we got let's see, Real Black Gentleman, 23, 9, 2, and 6. So we're gonna just tune in that. By the way, make sure y'all when y'all check the replay, that y'all check out the app I'm working on. All right, so let's see. 23, we got 9. Clear! 9, 2, and 6, I think it was. Let's see. Let's see. And then lastly, we got Harsh Reality Podcast with 33, 7, 6, and 4. Let's see. 33. I think it was 7, 6, and 4. Let's see. Oh, dang. Y'all got all these beeper noises. I don't know how y'all managed to do that. Let's just see how this sounds. And then maybe you might have to switch that up. I don't really like it, but I don't really like it. Hold on a second. Let me see. 16. Let me see what 16 and 1 and 6 sound like on top of this. Oh, this is that DJ stuff. Let me see. Yeah, we got to switch up something. Who's this loud motherfucker? No. Let's change up the 23. Let's see if this is. Nah. Let's see what this sound like. Nah, see, these got some. We gotta just up this. Let's see what this is. All right, let's do that. I think that's a little better. We're just gonna switch it up a little bit. All right, and then we're gonna turn it down a little. But anyway, actually, I don't know about that honk. I'm probably gonna have to delete that honk from my repertoire. But Real Pleasure said, yeah, cut it up. yeah, that honk is just a little bit. I'm gonna have to get rid of the honk because that. What's this? Is this the honk? Yeah. Let me see if I could. Oh man, I actually don't mind that right there. Alright, yeah, that's a little funnier. Alright. We're gonna turn it down though. So use the one from last week. Alright, so anyway, let's go back to the reality. So anyway, so that's it. The Hebrew Israelites. So I said, look, but it also includes politics over economics. So this is another story coming from this dude's so stupid. When I get this stupid noise. So this guy, basically, this is just, I'm gonna turn this off. I'm not holding y'all. I'm gonna turn this off. Dude sounding stupid, yo. Yo, I tell you, man, the synthetic music is really good. All right, NFT. So basically, this guy sells us his NFT. He bought it. $250,000 Bored Ape was sold for $150. Right. This guy says this guy bought his NFT for $2.9 million, asked for $48 million, and it's offered $3,600. Right. And then so, but this guy, you got to know who this is. So this is Sina Estavi, a crypto entrepreneur who last year bought a digital token representing Twitter founder Jack Dorsey's first ever tweet. So he got the first tweet, which is saying, just setting up my Twitter, maybe? I don't know, right? Setting up my Twitter, right? So it's the first tweet from Jack Dorsey, right? The founder of Twitter. So then somebody says, look, now this is what's important right here. The timing of the sale is certainly interesting. Estavi was just released from prison in Iran, where he had spent 9 months after being arrested on charges of disrupting the economic system. In that time, his cryptocurrency ventures crashed, and his attempts to appease those burned by the collapse are being met with skepticism. You get what I'm saying? Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this to say that what a nation does is it also, like, it regulates what are the cultural practices. Cultural practices being, what is the age of consent? What is the age of maturation? What is the age that a woman is an adult? Or what is the age that a man is an adult? And to what extent does that adulthood extend towards making their own choices? Right? Even choices with deeper ramifications. Right? Little girl is 13. Is she an adult? Now, in some cultures, and it's, again, remember, we talk about the Abrahamic faiths. I can't remember, but I think they have their, like, you know, the Jews in them, they have, like, their bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, whatever, at, like, 12 or 13 or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is this, that I think that even in Africa, you have your, you know, your little, you have your initiations, and it could also be around that kind of an age. Now, one of the reasons why we are against those kind of young age these days is because of the economy, or just the economic reality that if you're trying to pursue a career in something, you might need to be advanced in age, right? As to say that you might have to complete a graduate studies program, which would take you up to when you're 20. Or up to when you're 18 or what have you, right? You know, for college or something, right? On the other hand, you have more extreme examples of what a black cultural tradition could look like, in the sense of, well, what if instead of being a quote unquote American scholar, Frances Cress Welsing was an African leader, right? If Frances Cress Welsing had an institute, had a community, she might say the age of consent or the age of marriage is in somebody's 40s, right? Which is just, you know, unrealistic, obviously. But this is not, like, again, like I said, it's not a realistic, it's not a really a scientific, it's not, I mean, it's a scientific or religious conversation, but realistically, it's a legalistic conversation. And the legalism, right, stems from either the religion, right, the culture, in a sense, stems from either the scientific reality, right, which is not really that well instituted, you know, because most people would say, well, the woman can have a child, you know, at 13, like if she had her blood, if you will, right? If she has a period, she can have a child, right? Or if a man is producing sperm, he can have a child. So, you know, that's the scientific argument there, right? Whereas if you go into, well, what about the cultural, or what about the economic sense, as to say that, you know, a little boy at 13 can't what's his face, maintain a household, can't maintain a family, you know, and a little girl that thing can't maintain a family. So you can go to that argument as well. But the point being that it's all about what's legal. And unless you're a part of the national structure, unless you're a part of the national body politic, other people are going to have that legalism over you. And unless your society doesn't care or your community doesn't care, like, people are going to get away with being people and just using other people for their own means. And we're going to talk about that later when we actually do engage with this conversation on the age of consent, you know. But here you got this other one. It's all your problems and concerns stem from nationalism. Okay, all your problems and concerns stem from nationalism. This is another one on this thread of logic. Let me see what y'all was saying in the chat. I mean, yeah, I actually didn't save the beat from last week, so you know. Let's see. The horns are too much, but the rest ain't bad. You gotta change the screen. Oh, I ain't changed the screen. Oh my God. Yo, I hate this thing. I feel like I shouldn't even change it to the music production screen because it's just a waste of my time. It's just like I could mess up. But the rest ain't bad. You got to change the screen. We can't see what you're reading, Oni. Miss Untouchable says morning to everybody. Morning, Miss Untouchable. Well, I don't know about morning, but yeah, I guess it's morning. What was I saying? What was the screen from before? Let me show y'all before I'm surprised that, I tell you, I hate this stupid setup. This was a screen from before. Basically, this is the guy. He was apparently in jail in Iran, in Iran for disrupting the economic system. So it tells you, this is the tweet that I was reading. It tells you that, realistically speaking, the nation is going to, even if you're a billionaire, you start disrupting the economic system, they can lock you up. This is why I want you to understand. This is why I like actually Mr. Untouchable reminded me of this. So Mr. Untouchable was giving me some kind of praise yesterday, where he was like, he likes the organizers, even though Oni says you don't organize, blah, 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 right? The thing is this, that when you organize, you're organizing within a nation. Like, the nation is the highest form of organization, but if you're not a part of the nation, if your organization is not a part of the nation, right, then you're organizing under a nation. And what happens is that a nation can arrest you for disrupting the economic system. Like imagine this. Let's be real. You're in America. You say, hey, look, I'm going to form a nation, right? Not a nation, an organization, right? I was just thinking about Nation of Islam just now. But you want to form an organization to promote the well-being of African people, right? To do something for the African people and make the African people, bigger and badder and better and all that kind of stuff. You do that, and then they lock you up for disrupting the economic system that keeps African people on the bottom. And the reality is this, that Mr. Untouchable, I think Mr. Untouchable recommended these videos in the Shoot the Breeze. So make sure you guys check out the Shoot the Breeze program. But there was a quote unquote early Hebrew Israelite who did that. He was like, hey, you know what? We're going to get money. We're going to get money the old fashioned way. And the U.S. government locked them up. Now, of course, apparently, allegedly, they were killing people as well. So they had reason to lock them up. But the reality is this, that regardless, right, they lock you up. Fast forward to, Malcolm X will tell you that the Nation of Islam cut a deal with the KKK, because what happened was the KKK, what happened was that when they were organizing in whatever state that the KKK was in, the KKK would kill their cattle. Like, they had a farm. They were like, we're going to do an independent farm. We're going to have this, blah, blah, blah. We have this land, blah, blah, blah. And the Ku Klux Klan just go around and kill their cattle. And so they were not going to get no police protection from the KKK. It doesn't make no sense. How you going to get police protection from the KKK? Like you can't ask the KKK to protect you from the KKK. Well, I mean, no, you got to directly ask the KKK to protect you from the KKK. So that's what the deal Malcolm X had to make with the Ku Klux Klan was. It was like, hey, can y'all stop killing our cattle? We'll do something for you. You understand? Disrupting the economic system. This is why I say, look, I don't even bother, because you now have to cut a deal. You have to cut deals with the national structure. And if the national structure has an economic system in place, Because see, if you're disrupting the economic system, that tells you that it's not a free market. And of course, you might be like, well, Iran was never saying it was a free market. No, this portends to every country on the planet. You understand when you read Wealth of Nations, what you're gonna realize is that this dude is advocating for a free market system, but he's saying that because what happens is that in Europe there was no the states would intervene with the economy. The states would set up tariffs. The states would set up this, set up that, so on and so forth. And so he's saying, no, we shouldn't do that. But what you should really read between the lines and say, this is what they were doing. The king is setting the price of bread. Okay? And the king says the price is this thing. And then 5 years later, he says the price is this thing. And you might be like, well, and the king says no more imports from France in regards to bread. You understand? And understanding that, you got to understand that this person is, what he's articulating to you is that the political system has an economic system in mind. And of course it can loosen its hold, but it's not going to let go of it. And it never does. And so Estavi, billionaire, says, hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to manipulate over here. And they said, nah, we're going to put you in jail, you stupid fuck. What you thinking? And you got to understand that that's going to be the same thing that happens here. I told you about the sister who lost her job as a teacher because she was teaching kids, black youth, self-respect. This is something to do with, apparently this had to do with baby formula. So we're talking about baby formula. So they were giving the context behind the baby formula. They were like I don't know what the baby formula thing is about. But somebody says 3 American companies control over 90% of the market and blah, 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 blah. And it says, yep, here's the thing about baby formula. It turns dairy into a global export. Milk spoils too quickly to trade, but skim milk powder doesn't. The U.S. uses its power to shield itself from potential competitors in foreign markets. You hear that? These white boys are telling you what an IS is. They're saying the U.S. is behind, it's not a free market. The U.S. it's the U.S. market, right? The U.S. did all it could to prevent Canada from developing excess production capacity so we couldn't compete with them in Asia. That's why they freaked out about the Chinese dairy investment in Kingston, Ontario. They wanted it shut down. We said no because jobs, it was full-blown thing. Anyway, the United States market is dominated by those 3 producers, and so is the USTR. The Canadian commentary was all about the U.S. wanting access to our market. This was a rounding error for them. They wanted to take us out as a competitor in third markets. And here's another lobby group backed by Abbott Nutrition, which controls much of the baby formula market in the U.S., lobbying for trade rules against Canada to restrict exports of formula that they claim negatively impact U.S. dairy trade and jobs. It's the nation upholding the thing. So I say go home and read your damn self. Oh, this is the recent bill. Shout out to Keter and others. But Keter brought this to my attention, and I mean he has it on thing. I'm not blowing the spot. But countering malign Russian activities in Africa Act. This is just more about how nations. I said go home and read it your damn self. But this is more about how nations are in the business of regulating and moderating even groups outside of their borders. So what do you think they're doing in their borders? Countering malign Russian activities in Africa. To direct the Secretary of State to develop and submit to Congress a strategy and implementation plan outlining the United States' efforts to counter the malign influence and activities of the Russian Federation and its proxies in Africa and for other purposes. It should regularly assess the scope and the scale and scope of the Russian Federation's influence and activities in Africa that undermine United States objectives and interests, determine how to address and counter such influences, on and on. Point being, go and read it yourself. But if they're doing this in Africa, not even in their own borders, what do you think they're doing in their borders? What do you think they're doing in their borders? This is why I say, I don't even organize in the States. I used to believe in it. But I came against a brick wall, and it wasn't just the enemies within. Because realistically speaking, you got the big enemy without. I used to organize with this. I used to be in another organization with this sister, and she was like, "We in the belly of the beast." And I was like, that don't make that much sense. And, we kind of got into a quarrel, because she was, well, why did your family come here then, she had a point. And, for me, it was like, she got a point. Like we screwed up coming into the belly of the beast. But that don't necessarily justify staying neither. But here it goes. So, all right, so we're gonna go into the real religious conversation, which is what happens when belief tolerance becomes tolerance of intolerance. Okay, what happens? Because we try to not be about religion. We try, like, y'all be like, and I say try not to see the video. So one of the things I don't want to show y'all is the video. Actually, if you check out, I think Bit of Medicine was playing the video yesterday. But I don't want to show y'all that. I know, but of course, if y'all think the video is coming up, look away, right? So we're gonna read the story about this sister. Let me see what the comments are like. You got to change the screen. We can't see anything. All right, so there's no more comments. I want y'all to just think about that stuff. So Deborah was stoned and burnt to death today at Sokoto State College of Education for blasphemy. In a voice note, she reacted against posting of religious content in their class group chat on WhatsApp. Rest in peace, Deborah. Now, here's the thing about her story that because usually I know last week I was like, I don't care about nobody's death, right? Here's the thing about her story that touched me. When I was in Africa, I was doing the same thing. I was going around, yeah, man, Christianity is so stupid, it's false, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, but I was kind of hush on it. I was like, I was just telling some of the youngins, telling the kids. And I was like, just don't tell anybody because you know how they are. You know how people are. And they're like, no, we're not like that. Like, kids don't know better. Because here's the thing about this, too. I want you to understand. She's in a WhatsApp group. WhatsApp's group for class assignment. Now, I'm not going to hold y'all and just mull over the reality that she might have said something like fire burn you or something like that. Or fire burn, whatever, something like that. Some religious nonsense. I'm not going to hold y'all and mull over that reality. But this is this is also what we have to grasp, because what you're going to see now is that the state has to do something, and the state is not doing much. Okay? All the Christians in the North on my list are asking, why did she say it? And she killed herself. You can't be in the North and not understand this simple safety tip. Do not say anything, whether good or bad, about their religion, except you want to be killed, right? Also, nothing will happen to our killers. No waste your time with #justice for #RIP. Translation. So she says Holy Ghost fire, right? So that's what it is, right? Nothing will happen to us. The group is not created for sending nonsense thing. It is created to send past questions. If there is tests or if we are given assignments, not all these nonsense things. Which kind of prophet? Nonsense prophet, right? So yeah, again, like I said, so she put on this voice note, Holy Ghost fire, your prophet's stupid and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not going to gloss over that. If y'all saw the video last week of it resurfaced, the Jerry Springer, one of the early episodes where he has this little quote unquote racist girl on it. She's there, she's there talking about she don't like Jews or something like that. And she's like, how could you like Jews if they killed our God or something like that? They killed our God. They killed our God, right? That's it's an extreme view. I think somebody in the audience might have corrected her and said, crucifixion is not Jewish, it's Roman, right? And then she kind of went quiet, right? But the thing about that is that, this is the reality. The reality is this, that you're not going to get rid of these people. Okay, you're not going to get rid of these people. You're not going to get rid of people who have a belief in something nonsensical. What you're supposed to do is just to build away from these people. And you're supposed to also be very, very clear with people that if you believe in nonsense, right, that we don't really need you. Okay? We do not need you if you believe in nonsense. You know, you could say, hey, you know what? It's kind of like this billionaire. You know, like you see how Iran does it. Iran's like, hey, look, you're a billionaire. You're useful. You're a practical, useful individual in a sense. You believe in the future of currency, and you bought some monkeys for millions of dollars, right? Whatever, right? But they say, look, we don't need you. You might have an economy, but you don't believe in what we believe in. We don't share beliefs enough. And because we don't share beliefs enough, we don't need you. And this is what you have to start saying to the Christians and the Muslims and the sort of, because one thing we have to understand is you got to go back into your history, right? And you have to understand that these Abrahamic faiths, or Abraham himself, was an Aryan. Okay, you see the 14 words that I talked about earlier? That is pretty much what Abraham and them were doing. That's pretty much what Abraham and them believed in. Okay, if you looking at the quote unquote white supremacists and all that kind of stuff, that's what Abrahamic religions are. And that's what African people had to fight against when they were in Kemet. Okay, that's what African people had to fight against when they were in India. Okay, a lot of people don't recognize that African people used to be in India, or some of you could say that some of their descendants are still there. But it was a takeover of just look back into the Indus Valley civilization and look at who took them down. Look back into ancient Egypt and look who took them down. Who was Taharqa fighting? Who did Taharqa push back against? What was the last dynasty, the 25th dynasty of Egypt? Who were they fighting against? And understand that because they were the Aryans, understand that in India, in the Indus Valley civilization, they were the Aryans. And understand that Abraham says himself, he comes from Ur, the land of the Aryans. And his belief system is parallel to the belief system that the Dravidians are under, the caste system. When you understand that in depth, you're going to realize that you cannot take in anybody who believes in the Aryan belief system. Yesterday on Shoot the Breeze, I don't have this on this thing right here, but yesterday on Shoot the Breeze, there was a conversation, there was a document showing that because some Americans killed somebody in Iran, in northern Nigeria, they captured 20 black Christians, like maybe through like a few black Muslims captured 20 black Christians and beheaded them in revenge for what the Americans did in Iran. You cannot have this. You cannot have the Aryan I want y'all to understand that we are a part of a global, international, historic people. And our global, international, historic enemies, this is their belief system. Both of them, the Christians and the Muslims. And the Jews. That's their belief system. And I mean, you just have to review the history books. You just have to review the history with an open mind instead of a closed mind, where we say, hey, well, Christian. I mean, my grandmother's a Christian. Yeah, your grandmother was a part of the Wazungu's assignment. Your grandmother was a part of Wazungu's assignment to steal your belief system, or not to steal, to subdue your intrinsic defense to Wazungu. And it's fine. I mean, all respect to your my grandmother, same thing. My mother, same thing. But we have to wake up. You have to instill in people, go do your research. I know I don't like when people say go do your research, but I want you to understand that this Aryanism thing, it's not, and the issue is that it's not really clearly written out. But if you put two and two together, where is the land of Ur? In fact, we should probably look that up. We should probably look that up, but we should probably look up where the land of Ur is. If for those of you just not paying attention. But anyway, let me read these comments. Something along the lines of, actually, let me see what the comments are like. Was the killer Fulani? Kofi says, was the killer Fulani? Yeah, most likely. I mean, the killer was like we're gonna see if you could tell what a Fulani looks like. If you could tell what the Fulani look like, then sure enough, you can. He's bragging about it, you know. And the killer was not one individual, mind you. The killer was the community. The community sat by as they killed them. So this is by the way, just to let y'all know, this is So these are the images on Google Map. I had to make sure it wasn't a thing. So this is This is where the guy comes from. This is Iran. This is Iraq. This is Baghdad. This is the Euphrates. This is This is where Palestine is. Okay? This is where Palestine is. This is where Egypt is. This is This is where he comes from. Nomadic shepherds come from here. Who were the people that took over India, Indus Valley civilization? Nomadic shepherds with a belief in their racial superiority and massive violence. What was this? What is this book about? What is this book about? This is But nobody want to hear me. They don't want to hear me. They want to, like, y'all. I don't know why. All right. Anyway, let's go. You have done well. May their God increase the status of Prophet Muhammad. You have done well. May Allah reward you. May Allah increase the status of the Prophet. By the way, y'all, the pseudo religious are even worse than these people. You know, because they be like, Allah stands for arm, leg, arm, head. This is so stupid. All right. Marsha Allah may Allah increase the status of the Prophet. You're right. May Allah curse her. May Allah increase the status of the Prophet. This is what they do. And if you looked at the video, they're stoning her, and then they burn her dead body. But like first they're chasing her through the city. So basically it's like a lynching situation where she was first hiding in her, like the security forces were hiding her, and the students, these are students by the way, students break into where she's hiding, and they chase her around, pelting her with rocks. She has nowhere to run because the whole community is against her. Okay, finally they stone her enough and kick her as she's running by because everybody's against her. Pushing her, shoving her, stopping her. Then when she's on the ground, they keep stoning her. That's the end of her life. And then after she's dead from her face being ripped off by rocks, and her body being pelted, they then set tires on her. She's probably already dead, who knows? But they set tires on her, and then they burn her. And then they brag about it. Yes, we have stoned her, burned her. You have to be very careful. And here's the thing. She's in her classroom, minding her business, sending a voice chat. This is what she says.
Holy Ghost fire ba abun da zai faru da mu. Dole ne wasu abubuwan da ya kamata ku tura muna. Ba wai an yi group din ga don ture abubuwan banza bane fa. An yi do pass you. In akwai test, in an bada assignment a tura, ba wai abubuwan banzan ga za ku tura muna ba, mun zo Allah din mi an zo an buron ba.
Yeah. So. Oh wait. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, you heard her. Here's it. This is the only justice she will likely get. So basically, they closed down the school for a minute. This is the guy. I killed her. I burnt her. You can see the matchbox I used in setting her ablaze here. And it's a whole community affair. It's not like one guy. If you look at it, it's a whole group of people. Murder of Deborah, so on and so forth. It happened in a higher institution where people are supposed to be civilized and learning. And then she does her thing, whatever. Let's see. He's Muslim, killed in Jos Plateau State by Christians. You had to post this one also, otherwise you remove the poster before. Nonsense. Come and collect my phone and post it. I thought you guys are proud of what you did to her. Let me help you share the testimony well. I'll be so on and so forth. Stop saying being in North. Deborah is Northerner. She is from Niger State. And you better stop translating the video clip because the more you translate it, the more we might think you are trying to abuse our holy prophet Salah. So be careful. You see? Yeah. And this is not like a white man. Understand? I mean, he looks a little, mixed perhaps, but it's not a white man per se, right? This is a leader, I guess. I think maybe there can be no justification for their gruesome murder. Deborah was murdered, and all those behind her death must be brought to justice. My condolences to her family. This evening, I received the information that a post was made that don't agree with my orders. I use this to announce that any post without AA is not from me. Okay, so this is the Hausa leader, right? And so he's saying this. He first condemns the death of Deborah. And then I'm going to show you guys, it's a political response. We're not going to vote for you again, blah, 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 blah. And he recants. He renounces. So I guess he's Hausa, but he renounces his former post. If it doesn't have my signature, then I didn't really say it. Okay? I didn't really say it. So, again, so I say, bruh, it's one religion. That's what people are going to say. It's one religion. We're gonna keep going. I mean, this is a, and see, that's the thing I want to say about like what I like about African Americans and what I don't like about African Americans, right? Is that kind of like because I think it was Harsh Reality who was saying that people were sick, like our people were sick because when a person died, we celebrated, right? And it's like to me, it's like we didn't even kill the guy. We're talking about Kevin Samuels. But at the same time, we are like, at the same time, we're kind of like we condemn people for even mocking the guy, But like we didn't even do any harm to him, even though we might have disagreed with him, even if the radicals or the radical feminists or even even me, I guess, right? A lot of us might have not have agreed with his methods and his madness. We didn't do anything to him. We didn't harm him. And that's what I could respect about, quote unquote, I could respect about African Americans. I mean, it's also a bad thing to be so docile, but it's a good thing to be docile with your own people, at least, right? However, here you have a video of a black woman in school. Simply, I mean, obviously she did add some religious stuff to it, but simply just saying, let's just focus on our schoolwork, damn it. Like probably she was fed up with being bombarded with religious messages in her freaking WhatsApp group that has nothing to do with religion. Right? That said, and I mean, it's not to say that if, like, if I got family chat, that I started, after my mother passed away or something, right? And they kind of bombard us with religious talk. And I realized that in retrospect, my mother was probably bombarded with religious talk too, right? And, I could see a negative reaction from me saying, can y'all stop posting religious shit? Like, what y'all gotta do, blah, blah, blah. I can see a negative reaction in the family. I don't see them killing me, but I can see a negative reaction, right? All the same, right? She's killed and they celebrate killing her. At least with Kevin Samuels, he like died, doing what he loves, messing with Latina, thick Latina women, I guess, right? Right? He died doing what he loves, This woman died running, fearing for her life. And rightfully fearing for her life because it was gone. And afterward, more people are being killed. So a female student of Shehu Shagari College of Education in Sokoto has been reportedly beaten and burnt to death for religious blasphemy. Video is gory and horrible. You hear news like this and remember that this country's issues are bigger than our economic woes. And I want you to understand too. So I was showering my son and I realized, look, this is a boy who's not going to be religious, right? As far as I can tell, right? He's a boy that's not being religious. Cute little boy. You're grooming him. You're caring for him for years, by the time he's old enough to be in college, right? Let's say I don't know how old this girl is, but let's say she's 18, right? By the time she's 18, you spent 18 years of love. You put 18 years of love and care into an individual and they're taken away. Their smile, their ambition, their hopes, their joys, taken away. All because we do not recognize the enemies within. All because we do not recognize that you cannot have these Abrahamics. See, because like realistically speaking, I'll tell you this. You go to the Christians and you say, man, you shut the fuck up, man. Stop telling me about your stupid religion. Religion's stupid. Right? And in fact, actually, you can see this. In fact, you can see this. So shout out to Alan Bookman. In fact, there was a debate that was had in the African conscious community where one of these sisters was a Christian sister, and she hosted a debate where black Christians and black non-Christians were debating the religion in a sense, and you could see the cognitive breakdown in the sister. You could see her being emotionally flustered over a perfectly reasonable and rational conversation. You could see it. You could see, and while there was conversation around that particular discussion, you could see other quote unquote Christians saying, well, I try to stay out of this religious stuff. Religion's not important. Religion's blah, blah. You could see them being defensive. And the only thing that, because there's a video I wanted to show y'all, I didn't record it. There's a video inside of Palestine, or Israel if you want, right, where this Palestinian woman is being told to take off her hijab by the Israeli forces, and she's submissive and subdued, and the only difference you see with her and the people inside of this the situation right here is power. The big difference between these two groups is power. And you have to say to yourself, one, how do you get power? And two, how will you use power? Are you going to use power to be infiltrated from within? Or are you going to use power to keep the forces you don't need out? Because I'll tell you, a lot of people are decent. A lot of people are decent. But if they're following along the Aryan belief system, you gotta say no. You hear news like this, so on and so forth. Even if we solve the economic problems, we as the people are fundamentally different. Deep religious and ethnic differences that have not improved over the years. Rather, the chasm has grown wider. There is no individual unifier that can bridge this gap. In a higher institution of learning, they stoned, clubbed, and burned another human like them to death in defense of a religious deity. A college of Arab man. A college of education where teachers and shapers of young minds are trained. If this doesn't make you lose all hope, I don't know what will. Will she get any justice? Will any of the Arawa voices speak for her? Or is it going to be silence and unlooking? The school has been shut indefinitely, but nothing has been said about finding the murderers. Is it going to be silence because they were defending the faith? See, nowhere in the statement did the Sokoto government offer condolences to Deborah's family, no assurances of justice, no assurances that the murderers will be identified and face consequences, just yada, yada, yada about investigation. The killers boasted on video. Another unfortunate statement from the Sultanate, cold-blooded murder is not an incident. Why are you refusing to use her name? Not a single word of empathy. Now, of course, this is just, feminist, whatever, but yes, you wonder why we can't seem to rid ourselves of extremists and terrorists because local authorities, northern elites, their scholars, and even their citizenry endorse terrorist mindsets like this. And there's unfortunately, they're you don't want to hear this, but they're supposed to. Okay, you don't want to hear this. They're supposed to, and that's trouble. When you don't understand nationalism, you're confused. You're like, why would they support their own religion? You're supposed to. The trouble is that they have the religion. It's not that they support their religion. You're supposed to support your religion. If you say enough to have a religion, you're supposed to support it. What you're supposed to do is build separately from them. And have your own power, not have them having power over you and expecting them to use that power to your benefit, to your religious preference, to your freedom. America's not going to use its power for your freedom. China's not going to use its power for your freedom. Russia's not going to use its power for your freedom. Ukraine. Name a country. Ain't none of them supposed to use their power for your freedom. Now, if you're in Jamaica, Jamaica's supposed to do it for you. Right? If you along with the Jamaican agenda. IT, same. You know? But here this woman, you in a failed state. The northern elites are supposed to go along with the northern agenda. A reminder that this guy works as a presidential aide, is hoping towards being a lawmaker. This is why those murders are bold. I can't pretend or keep silent. I support the death penalty for blasphemy. That's my belief, and I do not and will never support Save Kano 9. So I guess the people, I guess this is Kano. I thought it was Sokoto. I don't know. I don't know the difference. But I guess 9 people were arrested. And he says, look, death penalty for blasphemy is a thing. This is a lawmaker. And it's supposed to be that way. The trouble is this. Are you a lawmaker? Don't expect other lawmakers to make laws for you. Expect other lawmakers to make laws for themselves. You want to open the door to the Abrahamics? Expect them to make laws for the Abrahamic beliefs. You want to open it to the Aryans? Expect them to benefit the Aryans. I'm telling you to be real. See, I'm talking about realism. A lot of us want to do idealism. We want a politician to randomly go against his own faith. This is how I was talking in Africa. I'm telling y'all, this is how I was talking in Africa. Y'all want politicians to go against their own faith. You're not being realistic. See, if you can't convince your mama, and you can't, if you can't convince your mama, then just give up. Okay, I'm saying don't look at the video. Oh, yeah, it's not the video. Okay. So this was just context. This is the fire in the back. I don't know if that's really that serious. A female student, Shanghai. Oh, yeah. Look, them jubilating, killing her. That's the lady in the back. He's saying he didn't want to kill her. He set the fire. Oh, my gosh, why did they kill her? She sent the voice note telling him to stop talking about that stuff in the assignment. And like I said, that's how I was talking in Africa. Could have been me. Could have been me. I'm not saying that Africa is all violent, because it's not. But the reality is that if you're in another person's nation all the time, you're always going to be subject to another person. Always. Always. Your only defense against that is to be in a freaking jungle or something. I don't know. Kofi asked who was the killer. Bit of Medicine says Iran. It's embarrassing. Keter says a bunch of sickos. Bit of Medicine says a clown. Ombudsman says, I believe both killers and victim are Hausa. Okay, so Amma with the research telling us the thing. So it's like, look at this right here. It says, in 2002, Nigeria was to host the Miss World Beauty Pageant. A writer for This Day newspaper wrote that the models were so beautiful that the Prophet Muhammad, SAW, would have married one of them if he was alive. Arab boy. 200 people died in Kaduna. This day was burned down. The writer, Izomaya Danielle, had to leave the country. They killed and killed and killed. Armed rioters stormed Christian houses and killed every Christian they could find. That was 20 years ago. 20 years later, we are not still free from this bullshit. The event was moved to London. They wanted to host it in Nigeria since Agdani Darego previously won it. We were taught this thing in school. The way my lecturer described it, you did not want to witness it. This is not a right way to live. Sokoto event is such a painful one. May her soul rest in peace. And the thing is this, like, again, they are defending their Aryan way. And again, it comes back to power. It comes back to power. See, you don't, like, again, it sounds like a religious conversation. It does, right? It comes back to power, though. It's two dimensions to the power, though. The power is, of course, the power over the mind, but obviously also just the real physical power. This is what you can get away with. Remember, humans are just creatures in a sense. We're here, right? And we can do what we want, and we do what we want. And the only thing that stops us from doing what we want is power. Now, one of the issues is, why would you want to do this? But there's a reason why they want to do this. You know? They can go and kill 200 people. Why? Because they have the power to. You know, you don't see that in Israel. You don't. Because they don't have the power to do it. Have the same belief system. You go and say the same thing, they might have the same anger. They may have the same emotions. Other day I saw a video of this lady in Israel, in fact. Palestinian, white lady, obviously, right? She's walking, minding her business, probably pregnant. I don't know. They shoot her down, and then they just stand over her body and let her bleed out, right? Shoot her down for like she's walking wrong time, right? The men are there. They're angry about it. They want to do something about it. They want 200 people. They want to get 200 people. They can't. And you might be like, hey, well, power is just the ultimate defense. Why we need to worry about suppressing religion if power can just suppress this negativity for us? Because you don't even want people to think this. You don't even want people to think, oh, we're going to kill 200 people if we didn't, if as long as we could beat their state. That's an enemy within. And you have to realize that's an enemy within. You don't want people reading international news, getting angry at America and saying, hey, you know what? I want to kill somebody because America's doing something. You don't want that. Because see, when America says, oh, I'm going to bomb somebody in Iran, most quote unquote black Americans don't give a shit. Oh, you killed somebody in Iran? Okay. Pass the the cornflakes or whatever, like who gives a fuck? But they do, and I'm telling you, you have to shut it down. This is a terrible way for a woman to die. This is somebody saying that, and like I tell you guys, it's all worship. The religious groups are worship. You have to understand that they're worship. You have worship, they have worship. Okay? This is verses from the Quran that inspire terrorists. Slay the unbelievers wherever you find them. Muslims must not take the infidels as friends. Any religion other than Islam is not acceptable. Maim and crucify infidels if they criticize Islam. Terrorize and behead those who believe in scriptures other than the Quran. Muslims must muster all weapons to terrorize the infidels. The unbelievers are stupid. Urge the Muslims to kill them. When opportunities arise, kill the infidels whenever you catch them. The Jews and the Christians are perverts. Fight them. Make war on the infidels living in your neighborhood. Punish the unbelievers with garments of fire, hooked iron rods, boil water, melt their skin and bellies. Do not hanker for peace with the infidels. Behead them when you catch them. This is who you guys want inside of your countries. This is what you guys, when you guys talk about nationalism, you say, hey, let's be tolerant of these people. And it's not just them. It's not just them. All three books are about worship. All three books are about worship. The Jewish one is about, has some verses like, hey, if you got rotten meat, don't sell it to another Jew. Sell it to a Gentile. The fuck? You got rotten meat. And this is what you want them to privately study, privately believe, and say, well, as long as they're not hurting anybody. So if selling rotten meat's not hurting nobody? The fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? But okay. We're going to keep going. And like I said, this ties back into last week's conversation. But okay. I'm telling you, you have to. And it's like, look, we might not have the power right now. So people don't care. But I'm trying to let you know, power builders, power brokers. I want y'all to know, this is what it is. This I'm telling you what you must understand. So somebody says, she wasn't burned alive. She was killed first, then burned. We're not animals. Sometimes I hate Nigeria and the people that I'm forced to share it with. But did anyone make that statement, right? And he's like, look, here's the point of correction. May God bless them all. They did the right thing. May God bless them all for taking such an action. Point of correction. She was killed first, then burned her dead body. May Allah bless them for this commendable job. All right. Let's keep going. So Scully is here. Scully's a good brother too. Make sure y'all check him out. Organic African Paradigm. Good brother. Let me see what the comments are like. Black Islam is a grotesque thing. Yeah, it's all really black Christianity is infantile. You got it. Black Judaism is fanciful. All of them are stupid. Black people are only radical within the Abrahamic paradigm. You got it. All three keep black folk in the periphery. And then you just, like I say, look, I want y'all to just say Aryan. It's Aryan. I keep saying Abrahamic too, but it's Aryan. They don't want you to connect the dots. They don't want you to connect the dots for whatever reason. So look at this. Scully says, this is politicians for you. They are never for what is upright. All they care about is the vote. So look at this. After threats of losing votes in Sokoto, Atiku deletes tweet condemning lynching of Christian student. So that tweet I showed you guys before, there can be no justification for such gruesome. He deleted it. Then here's what was replied to him. You lost 1 million votes in Sokoto. Somebody says, I swear, mine inclusive, we go wait for M till he come for campaign. Okay? Okay? And this is even for you democracy fans. Okay? This is for the democratic thing to do. You understand? This is a democratic thing to do. Your people agree with death penalty for lynching somebody for blasphemy. Your people agree with that. The democratic thing to do is to go along with it. That's what happened in America when you had lynchings. A lot like you the governor of Georgia, right? You're the governor of Georgia. Somebody lynches a black kid for nothing, right? You get all the evidence and you realize it's for nothing, right? And then you gotta arrest this person you gotta arrest the group leaders, and then the people are like, no, let the person walk, right? The democratic thing to do is to let the person walk. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what the democratic thing to do. It's because if it's the rule of the people, if you're the people's representative, then what do the people want? This is I'm a bookman right here. Y'all check this out. So this is she says, heartbreaking to see these children in the crowd, knowing they will become demented adults. So this is protests ongoing in Sokoto. This is too much for the release of the killers of the late Deborah. You understand? We're not putting two and two together. I don't know if there's I think there's more. But like what happens is they're also burning churches and this, so on and so forth. That's the ABA. Those are the ABAs. Anything but African. I should have like Aryan, I don't know. Something to do with Aryans, anything, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's the Aryans. Now, let me see what the comments are like. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a nice little thing. Kenta says absolutely 100, and he says, y'all got the like, comment, subscribe, and share the episode to your people. Yeah, man, please, everybody share this, because this is serious, Deborah's death is serious, and I want y'all to, reconcile with that. Now, we're going to switch over to some manginas. This is just going to be a simple video of a mangina. I just saw this today, I think, and I was just like, this is we fight white supremacy, people, we fight white supremacy. Yeah, okay. Manginas. Like, don't do this, guys. Please don't do this. Approximately 215 distinguished gentlemen showed up and showed out in Bmore. Yeah, man, you couldn't get me on an airplane for this. I'm sorry.
Media company that really works in 3 tiers, right? So what you see, so
yeah, I'm not even interested, but you guys can check it out. That's one of the enemies within. Now let's go to the next one. This is a pass me. This is a pass me. So this is a pretty face and sad character, Murder She Wrote. So I think the original link got deleted, but it's, if y'all don't know Murder She Wrote, it's with a pretty face and bad character. All right. So yeah, I think this is it. So What is this? Yeah, all right. So yeah. So basically this woman, she's not bad looking. Okay? This woman's not bad looking. I think it was actually this lady right here, 8 Truth. I think this is the one that I originally had too. Not bad looking. Wait, is this yeah, the link is actually from 8 Truth. Yeah. So not bad looking either. So you look at this woman, she actually changed her picture, but it's still not a bad looking woman, right? She goes, there's people that believe that the moon is natural. Laugh my ass off, right? She later deleted it, but that's why I got to screenshot these stuff too, because I'm losing this stuff. So this lady, she's also not a bad looking woman, right? She goes, see, she's not bad looking, right? A lot of black women are good looking, right? Believe that the moon is natural. So, somebody jokingly, it's like, you mean like I got a perm or something? Like, what are you talking about, right? Now, then it goes this. Now, this is probably even the best looking of the three, right? Good looking woman, right? And this is why I remember some brother one time showed me this sister and he was like, yo, this sister look good. And I'm like, yeah, but who cares? Like, at some point you got to realize that some of these people, like, it's easy to look good if you're black. It's easy to be beautiful if you're black. The issue is, are you a motherfucking nutcase? That's the issue. So it goes, it's always free thinkers that get challenged. People that know how to combine philosophy plus metaphysics plus religion and mythology and science to push people to actually ponder. I get what she means. Not saying this theory is what she meant by the moon not being natural, but using this basic theory just to show that people's perspectives make sense if you care to study and be open-minded. Like, this is a woman, like, this is a past me family. Like, you don't get caught up in the pretty face. Don't get caught up in the pretty face. Don't get caught up in the makeup or the nice heat. Don't get caught up in nothing. Okay? This is a past me. You in fact, you could even do such a test. You talking to a assistant and you say, hey man, somebody said the moon isn't natural. Like, the moon is not natural. Like, what do you think about that? It sounds like something that, and if they say that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, you're like, oh yes, you could take your relationship to the next stage. Now if they say, well, it got to be a little free thinking, we free thinkers, like, nah, fam, I ain't that free thinking. You know what I'm saying? So she goes, look, facts about lunar formation. The moon was formed 4.5 billion years ago, about 30 to 50 million years after the origin of the solar system, out of debris thrown into the orbit by a massive collision between a smaller proto-Earth and another planetoid about the size of Mars. Now, here's the thing. Once you see this, and you have a basic understanding of what natural means, which is like what natural doesn't mean, which like natural usually is opposed to what humans have done, So if the humans have done it, we consider it not natural. Whereas if the humans have not done it, then we consider it natural. And so when you see, as soon as you see the say 4.4 billion years ago, you gotta just be like, oh yeah, that's natural. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't no human did it. You know what I'm saying? Now you could go to extraterrestrials and all that kind of stuff, but again, ain't no human did it. That's for sure, right? 4.5 billion years ago, nah, right? I'm using this basic NASA theory, and so you're like, okay, maybe she's trolling. I don't know. I'm using this basic NASA theory as an IE to show how easy it is to debunk y'all lazy ass rhetoric. LOL. Let's gather around and make fun of people that actually study and research and are able to come up with theories. Y'all sit around and discuss gender wars and celebrities, please. And so everybody just like, what in this blurb from NASA do you think in any way, shape, or form validated what you said? This is probably a white boy. I don't know. But it's just like, I don't want to agree with no white people, right? She's like, there are so many theories out there regarding our moon and solar system that I was showing how easy it is way to find out that goes against the naysayers. Y'all love and trust NASA, right? The point is leave people and their theories and ideas alone. If it's not harmful, why care? And see, that's what I'm saying. Now, this is not the Aryan belief system. So in a sense, you could be like, well, who gives a shit if they believe the earth is flat? It's not Aryan. It's not rooted in the Aryans who've been at war with us from the time of Ram. You guys don't know who Ram is. Look that up. I tell you, I was You know, in fact, I'll tell you, my mother has Christian decorations. You know, when she was alive, she had a Christian decoration, and she had Noel. That's the name, right? Noel and Ram. Those are stories from the ancients who took over India. You understand? And today we go along with it. You have to understand what India was, what India meant in the in the global history. It's considered the Great War. It's considered the first Great War. If you're talking about World War I, World War II, no, that was the first Great War, and Africans lost. But again, you know, she might say, she has a point. You know, hey, who cares if you believe I mean, it's not a real point, but you know, yeah, like it's not. I'm not gonna dwell on it too long because you know who gives a shit, really. And you might be like, oh, it just stops there. You know, yeah, she's pretty and yeah, blah blah blah. And no, it don't stop there. Another one, Dr. Indy Einstein. So many people clowning this tweet, but how do y'all know the moon is real? Like, what? What? And I mean, obviously she's not as pretty as the other ones, but I guess she's pretty. Yeah, I thought you know, you couldn't really tell from the picture, but yeah, right. Again, I never said whether or not I agreed. I said, how do you know? Like, you're also ready to clown people on stuff that only validation you have is from people who put things in textbooks or told you so. At least conspiracy theorists ask questions and exercise their brain, y'all. And like, how do you, like, why would somebody believe the moon is not real if you could like you could legit see it? I mean, I could get if you were like, you know, Yahweh is not real. Like, I could get that, you know? Or, you know, like, I could get that. But to say the moon, like, something that everybody could see. And it's like, you know, the textbooks. And you're like, wait, but you know that they were writing about the moon for like, before they were writing about the moon. You know, like the first few things they wrote was about the moon. Why in the world would you think the moon was made up? Like, where do you even get, like, yo, bruh? Our compliant zombies who have never questioned a damn thing in your life because science plus man in a suit said real so many times. And getting so angry over a tweet about a moon is absolutely insane. You people need to breathe. Like, what do you... And, like, nobody's getting angry. We just know that the fucking moon is real because we've seen it, like, forever. You know? Shout out to D-Web, you know, Harsh Reality Podcast. He says, look, it's a piece of the earth that got knocked off more than likely by an asteroid strike. Hence all the ancient flood stories and periods of darkness from various religious texts and Native American parables, and also explains the ring of fire in the Pacific Ocean. Like he's like, there's scientific evidence for even the moon's formation. You know? And like the reality is that, you know, everybody knows about the fucking moon. Like, before textbooks. But, you know... you know, this person is gonna have a little conversation on it. I think they might have an extended conversation. But you know, like the main thing I would come away with is, yeah, you know, just another thing to like just watch the fuck out. Okay, these are past me's. Let me see what the conversation's like in the chat. And I mean, they're not like the worst enemies within, but they're enemies within too. You know. They go on door to door now beating up Christians. Yeah, Bit of Medicine says they go on door to door now beating up Christians, beating up, killing Christians. And this is what, and the thing is this, you shouldn't be living next to them. I want y'all to understand that this could happen if you have this Abrahamic faith inside of your community. If you have this Abrahamic faith within your community, if you have this Aryan faith within your community, they can one day up and go door to door and beat everybody up, kill everybody. And if their government is supporting them, if it's democratic and all that kind of stuff, they can get away with it. Who you gonna sue? Who you gonna sue? What insurance you got? Who's gonna respect your insurance? You want to go back to Black Wall Street. Understand that a lot of people emulate and imitate America. Okay? You gotta go back to Black Wall Street. After these white folk walked through Tulsa, Oklahoma, and, you know, killed black folk and beat up black folk and hoarded black folk and stole black folk, after they did all that, okay? The black people were like, hey, let's sue, let's recover our loss through these insurance companies. The white folks said, the fuck are you talking about? We're not gonna cover a riot. The fuck are you talking about? You think we're gonna compensate you for the damages we did? That's stupid. We did the damages. And black folk just had to suck it up. Now they did rebuild Black Wall Street without it, which is good. But the question is, as much human loss that happened, why do you want to go through that? Why do you want to be neighbors with the Christians or the Muslims if one day they're just going to meet in, they meet privately every week to discuss their enemies, their foreign enemies, the forces that they don't like, every week, like the Klan, and then they're gonna come out and strike one day when your guard is low. But it is what it is. Let's go. Kofi says, good stream so far. Appreciate it, Kofi. Real Black Gentleman said, moons made from protoplanetary collision debris happens every day, B. Yeah. Bit of Medicine says, a stiff-necked fool. I don't know who that is, but yeah, somebody's a stiff-necked fool. Harsh Reality says, yeah, she had some consistently bad takes. 18 to 30-year-old spiritual demographic walks a fine line between free thinking and intellectually lazy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know? The spirit. That's what I say, man. I don't even, like, y'all don't hear me doing that stuff. Like, I want to be a spiritual person, but y'all don't hear me talking to spiritualism per se. Like, I let y'all know that there's a there's a war going on, and that we have to defend ourselves in this war. But that's pretty much the extent, you know? Real Black Gentleman says, ask the black woman who works in the lunar rock lab that the moon ain't real. So yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that's just dumb. It's like, doesn't even make any sense. It's like, why would, like, it's like you could see it. And it's like, you know, nobody's, like, how could you make something so massive? You know? Like, how could any human being make something so massive? I mean, I don't know if y'all even know. I mean, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure you guys do know, but I don't even know if you guys know, like, how large the moon is. Let me see. How large is the moon? Like, it's huge. Yeah, 1,000 mile radius, and or if you will, a 3,500 kilometer diameter. You know, the like, it's like, how could you construct something this big? It's like saying like somebody's comparing it to Australia, I guess, right? So it's like, oh yeah, Australia's man-made. Like, what? Like, Australia's not natural. Like, who the fuck is gonna, how in the world could human beings create something like Australia? Like, how do you do that? Like what? And then it's like, the moon is actually larger than Australia because it's a sphere. So Australia, in a sense, I mean, it depends on how deep Australia goes underwater, but, like, realistically speaking, you just couldn't construct something that large. Not with any sort of technology that is present even to this day. You know what I mean? Like, even to this day, you couldn't construct that. Let alone could you have constructed this, 500 years ago. You know what I mean? Let alone 5,000 years ago. Like, it's just unreal. Like it's just not something that a human being can form. Because it's like, if you could have formed this, why the fuck don't you just form the Earth? Like, what's stopping you from forming the fucking Earth? I don't even get it. Like, you have these unwieldy abilities. Now, possibly people are thinking it's a spiritual creation. I don't know, but this is actually another past me story. I think that I just saw this before the podcast. This is actually low key sad. So basically, I don't know if this is true or not. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this woman's profile, right? So I don't know if this woman is who she says she is, but basically, there's this post that was viral, right? Viral-ish, right? This is May 14th, so it was yesterday. All right. She says, I just talked to an 8-year-old girl who hid in the cooler inside the grocery store. She was shopping with her dad and ran out the back of the store to safety. 8 years old. Okay? And again, it's like I said, again, like black women. Oh, look, white family. Oh no, it's probably not a white family. It's probably just a sister on a black show. But not a bad looking woman, right? So, and by the way, this is the past me section. This is why I go over it. And obviously, I'm not gonna do that with the guys. I know some of your sisters like, why don't you say whether the guy is good looking? Yeah, because I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if he's good looking. But yeah. Anyway, so Not a bad looking sister. And she's like, and so you're like, that's a good story. That's a nice story. But the immediate thought that you should have is what happened to the fucking dad? You know? Because, you know, I'm sitting at home. I'm like, yo, my kid's, you know, basically 8, right? And like, how would he engage in this sort of situation? You know, part of me wanted to admit that, you know, I have that concern. You know, somebody, like I randomly die outside, right? What's my kid going to do? Is he going to stay there in danger, or is he going to run? Is he going to flee? And like one of my proudest moments as a father, in fact, was when I was cooking and a fireball jumped out at the stove, and this boy ran. You know, you know, I backed up a little bit, but he ran like Bumba Cloud. You know what I'm saying? And so it was good for me because it's like, if somebody guns me down in the street, maybe the boy's going to survive. And that's what I want. You know, I don't want him hanging around like a dog or something, you know, Dad, get up, wake up, you know. I don't want that. You know, I want him to survive, live on, you know, prosper, you know, even without me, right? So you read this and you're like, wow, this 8-year-old girl, she's smart, she's clever, but what happened to her dad? Now, I don't know if this is a true profile. This seems like a true profile, right? But everybody's asking, what happened to her dad? Was he one of the ones wounded or killed? I'm glad she's physically okay, and I hope he is too. And it's like, yeah, he's traumatized, but okay, thanks for your care. And so you might be like, why am I reading this lady? She's like, I'm his mother, and he is fine, traumatized, but alive. Thank you for your care. And so it seems like the grandmother, right? But yeah, you can't tell because she's like 9 tweets in. She's 2 followers, 6 following. She just opened her account. Yeah, she just opened an account probably today for this particular incident, you know? So you don't know. But check this out. This is her grandmother, and yes, he survived. He hid with her in the cooler, and thanks for your care. This is his mom. Her and dad hid in the cooler. Both are alive and traumatized. Thanks for the care. This is her grandmother. They hid in the cooler. So I don't know if this is true, but here's the reason why I'm going to say this lady's a pass me, right? She wrote the black man out. And now I'm not really into this black man victim story. I'm not into this black man victim narrative. But one, you made the little girl seem like a super kid, which is good, which is fine. And I mean, two, I mean, lad, the brother hiding isn't like the best story, but to just write him out of the narrative, right? Even though he did what he could have, you know, if he wasn't locked and loaded, if he, you know, which is it's actually pretty hard to like, if you see the video, the dude's a good shooter. Okay, if you see the video, the dude's a good shooter. He would get you pretty quickly. And it would be down to who can shoot who first. But he was ready. Either way, you know, and you couldn't have hid. You know, a lot of people just hid on the floor, and he shot them on the floor. You know, it wasn't a thing, right? But what I'm saying is this: she just took him out. You know, made us think, okay, well, maybe he was the one killed and she just hid, and that's great for her, right? But on the other hand, what happens is that, you know, he did his part. He's really the hero of the story. You know, he kept his daughter alive, and then they just write him out. And he's going through his own trauma, apparently, according to his mother, right? He's going through his own, you know, feelings, and it's just, you know, who gives a shit? He could be dead. It's not that serious, but, you know, again, like I said, this is another one of those enemies within. This is the thing that we have to address now. This one's really serious, so it's not even funny. Y'all, this sexuality isn't equal, so this is just one of those things. I'm gonna go over it quickly. By the way, what time is it? Oh shit, I might have to wrap it up. So I might have to wrap it up. So let me double check. I realized I had to, like, speaking of kids, you know how this kid's mother is all, let me drop this kid off a little early. But anyway, look at this. My son told me last night that he had a crush on a girl. I just didn't know where I went wrong in my parenting. Has anyone else dealt with raising a possible heterosexual child who may also be cisgender? Please share any type suggestions. I want my child to feel supported. I raised them on Steven Universe, She-Ra, and Kipo. My soon-to-be wife and I are gay as hell around him, and I'm co-parenting with his other mom in the San Francisco Bay Area. I just don't see how this heterosexuality could still happen, and so young. And since someone is, how old is he? I had my first crush on a girl at 3 years old, and it ruined my life. Her and blah, blah, blah. Her and I have been married for 30 years this month. So basically, it's supposed to be a joke, you know. It's supposed to be like a parody of heterosexual couples. And by the way, she's not good looking. So she's definitely a pass me. But like, who cares? She's queer, right? So who cares if she's good looking or not? But and 240,000 likes, by the way. So the dissexuality is not equal to heterosexuality or to the normal sexuality. Okay, it's not equal. You know, if somebody does, like for instance, if my son eats meat, it's not a story. If he eats vegetables, it's not a story. If he eats human beings, it's a story. It's something to be concerned about. Why in the fuck are you eating human beings? Where did I go wrong? Why are you a cannibal? You understand? This like, you have to think about, like, realistically speaking, there is a normative culture. And it does depend on your environment. So it's normal among the Hausa or in that Hausa community to be a Muslim, right? It's normal to, you know, in America, in Black America, to be a Christian. And people can say, where did I go wrong, when you're not a Christian, right? However, this thing is not normal, and it's borderline, like, it's not borderline, it's child abuse. Okay, it's child abuse. And then it's just a joke. It's a joke to these people. And they're having a laugh. And they want you to feel bad about not appreciating this joke. You know? Look, oh, we got one. The lamest shit that has developed on Twitter in the last 5 years is when a gay people or woman try to make a point sarcastically the same way how a straight person or man would. Shit is being corny as hell, right? Okay, basically saying sarcasm belongs to straight men. No. Man thought he lost all hope in humanity, lost additional bit of hope. He didn't even know he still had. Okay. Well, unfortunately, my neighbor's cousin is one of them. And it's like, yeah, this is part of the enemies within. But of course, like I said, I got to wrap up, so I'm not even thinking. This is the age of consent. I probably could keep this conversation for next week. But, yeah, I'll probably keep this conversation for next week. So we're just going to add that for next week. It's actually something I really wanted to talk about, but it's also something that's hard to talk about, you know? It's hard to talk about in the sense of you know, you don't want to come off as, you know, as advocating against the current status quo in terms of age of consent. But like I said, age of consent is unfortunately a community consensus and a nation thing. So actually, let me just go over it. Let me see, how much time I got? Yeah, I got time. Let me go over it quickly. But one of these videos is actually not something you, like, some people don't want to see. But like, I mean, I won't even show the whole video, really. I mean, I should actually, but I can't. Oh, no, this is something else. What is this? Oh, pedophilia is a sexuality. And then this lady quotes, no, pedophilia is a psychiatric disorder. It's an adult or older adolescent person, primarily or exclusively sexually attracted to prepubescent children. Although girls typically become the process of puberty at age 10 or 11 and boys at 11 or 12, criteria for pedophilia extends the cutoff point for prepubescence to age 13. Person must at least 16 and at least 5 years older than the prepubescent child for the attraction to be diagnosed as pedophilia, right? Yeah, so that's a thing that's going on. So I also say y'all expect too much from America, and it shows in the sense that, you know, you want America to protect, you want the state to protect you, and it just won't. But let's see if I can wrap this up quickly. So this is 2 interviews. You should check out both of these interviews. This guy is talking about when he was younger.
Right there on the bench, like, come here. You know, so I'm sitting right there, I'm like, what's up? Even though I don't want to say, like, this weird as fuck, what is he doing? Because now my dick is soft in the motherfucker. I'm scared at this point, you know.
Basically, as older woman, married woman, sits down, and he's like 12 or something, and she, you know, bends over, grinds on him a little, gets his dick hard, then kind of just like forces him to have sex. Well, she has sex with the boy, right? And this is also famous guy.
Slightly try to take it. I've had older women who thought I wasn't being parented correctly. slightly try to take advantage of me, and not slightly, have taken advantage of me.
You lost your virginity to two 30-year-olds?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Yeah, two ugly, horrible looking women.
And you were?
What was I?
You were how old?
11.
Yeah, so all right, so he's an 11-year-old boy, and then two women, like, I think it's have him eat them out or something like that. And this is the thing, it's normal. It's normal. Again, you know, I mean, you or I wouldn't do it, right? Obviously, we wouldn't do it, but it's not something that humans turn away. Okay? Unfortunately, humans don't turn away this. Now, here I say look away if you're squeamish. I've been debating all week whether or not to show this. So this is going to be a video, short video of these girls in South Africa, right? Because we got to understand, there's these girls in South Africa, they're 15, and they're scantily clad. So if you don't want to see that, I'll tell you guys when to look back and when to look away. And it's making the rounds in South Africa. So, you know, just a warning. Yeah. So apparently, allegedly they're 15, right? And they're doing this for iPhones. And people are kind of in doubt that all of them are 15. But like, this is the reason why I'm showing you this is to say that this is what some kids look like. Okay? And, you know, you or I might say, you know, what's your ID? How old are you? Right? To a young girl. And she might say, well, she might lie and say she's 18, but she might even just tell you, hey, I'm 15. And you or I might be like, okay, let me back up. Right? But a lot of men aren't going to. And you have to go into this thing. Right? So it's like one of these questions I asked. I said, would you date yourself? By the way, I took the video off if you guys looked away. Would you date yourself? And the question is, what do you want a relationship for? And the issue is this. So in that video that I showed you guys with the South Africans, the girls wanted iPhones. So it's like, apparently, I guess a Nigerian man might end up, I don't know. I think from the conversation below that he might end up sleeping with some of them or one of them. I don't know. But they do it for iPhones. And the irony is that the lady who put up this on the account, she was also bragging about a Nigerian man giving her iPhones, you know, earlier. So it's just, you know, one of those things. But here's the thing. If you're a man looking in a relationship for sex, right? The question becomes, under what moral ethical principle are you looking away from girls that age? And so again, what happens inside of this paradigm? What happens in this paradigm is that we have to understand that African people, right? I mean, we have to understand that the age of consent, if you will, how does it go? And so I want you guys to see this thing too. It's old enough to die, old enough to kill. This is going to be so Reddit has this. I kind of went on to Reddit to see. By the way, I should have closed that. I went on to Reddit to see what this video with the gun thing is, and so I ended up finding this thing instead. And this is basically a teen boy gets into 2 gunfights at 9 a.m. while in the middle of live streaming on Facebook. So. So he might be 16 at this point.
Nigga, what the fuck you invite me to your live for? What the fuck you even going live about this for? Fuck, nigga, cause you mad cause I said you ain't gang.
So he gonna go outside. He's gonna go outside. Yeah. I'm gonna go further outside. So he's probably 16, by the way.
Man, nigga wanna shoot all that. Nigga wanna drive down the street while they have a corn. Wait, nigga, and I'm outside of this shit, nigga. Wait. Yo, what's up? And I'm outside of this shit. Wait.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so again, so I said old enough to die, old enough to think. If you actually follow this boy's story, so eventually they posted in Reddit, Body found near Bayview Lake is missing. Birmingham team. Homicide probe underway. So yeah, eventually, I guess when he's 18. So this was like 18 months later, I guess, right? But is identified as the 18-year-old Sean Carib Avant Jr. He has been missing since Thursday, right? So, obviously he had like a whole year after the shootout, so on and so forth. But, oh, look, authorities said Avant was shot to death and then dropped into the lake. You have to realize that, we're older individuals. So we kind of say, life is, meaningful and you should be 40 and 30 and 50. But again, you have to realize that not everyone is going to have your worldview, your point of view. And you might say, hey, young people are young people should be protected and so on and so forth. But you also have to realize that when you young people may not be adults, and we know this, but how they're socialized, and what their interests and ambitions are really being shaped outside of us. And it does, we do, a lot of us, especially at those young ages, do feel like we know more than we do. And there's no convincing us otherwise. The young girls who are dancing for this Nigerian man to get this iPhone, or having sex with this Nigerian man to get this iPhone, they know what they're doing. I used to have this young, I was dating this woman, and she had a kid who was 13, a boy, right? And he was weird, but he wasn't the equivalent of an adult, but it's not but you could see that his personality was developing in a certain way. But anyway, used to be well read. So again, this is I'm just gonna go quickly. I said, put it in the book. If you're trying to hide something from black folk, put it in the book. These are the comrades. We're going to go over the comrades. This is just something quick. It's just something stupid. The freaking comrades. But it says, marks and angles, and this used to be a black woman's picture, so I don't know what happened, but they're just freaking comrades. Who cares? Marks and angles aren't good beginner reading lists for people who want to learn about communism. I skipped through a lot of their work because their writing was hard to get through. I don't know why y'all don't recommend Rodney, Angela Davis, Che Gunter Jope, and etc. And all I'm going to say is that a lot of black people are like, yeah, we agree with you. Reading is tough, But but it's the thing about those comrades is that they used to be well read. But now it's the old site, the old conversation, which is if you want to hide something from black folk, put it in a book. And I know y'all saying, what could make Oni rush through his podcast? And it's well, I got to pick up this kid, right? Let's see. Let me see the comments. Kofi says, she the only black person in her header picture, red flag. I mean, I think that's her colleagues, though. I ain't gonna hold you. If you working at a job where you're the only black person, it makes a little sense. Kofi says, I hear a black man shot him, but he was wearing bulletproof. Who? The kid? Kofi, Bobby Wright says, great show, PvP. Kofi says, what? This must be a deep fake. What must be a deep fake? What did I miss? You talking about the little kid? Nah, the little kid's dead. Little kid's dead. Right, let's see. So this is not my condoms. This is I don't know what this is about. Let's check this out. Probably not that important. But this is an evolutionary. So we actually on the last few subjects. Just considering banning condoms is crazy. STDs don't exist. Maybe sex before married would end or decrease. Yeah, okay. But again, this is just more or less the evolutionaries, which is, this white boy could just kind of tell you whatever he wants you to do, and you're just going to go along with it pretty much. What's the context? The anti-condom GOP supports STDs, pass it on. You can't do nothing. They write the laws, but, it is what it is. Let's just scroll through this. Let's see. Help me collect the GOP's anti-choice extremism. So yeah, basically these white people just going on about the stake. Actually, I could actually have taken this one out. Now this one right here. Damn, I'm so mad. I gotta fucking rush through this. So we blaming the state though? This is y'all gotta. I was preparing to say that y'all gonna tell me why am I gonna recommend some white boys music, but y'all should listen to this song called Maxwell's Silver Hammer. It's actually hard to find a copy of it because it's the Beatles or whatever. But of course, the reason why we know these white boy songs is because we're in the white boys dominion. I'll just let y'all know. Well, basically, so here's what happens. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis claims that YSL has been a part of 50 murders around the city since 2015. So they killed about 50 people since 7 years, over 7 years. So now this person's like, something about a task force running surveillance for 8 years, watching them why you say 8 years? All right. Watching them put up 50 black bodies feels. And it's just like, this is the Nevolutionaries, where it's like, on the one hand, you're going to see people on both sides where they like, hey, y'all should have cleared the streets before, a long time ago. And then the other people are like, why are you guys targeting black people? And it just reminds me of Maxwell Silver Hammer. There's this verse in Maxwell Silver Hammer where it's like Rose and Valerie screaming from the gallery, say he must go free. And what happens is Maxwell is this boy who's walking around with a hammer and just beating the shit out of people, just randomly. And then, just killing people. And then eventually, while he's at court, there are people protesting the fact that he's arrested. And it's the same thing. All right, so anyway, it looks like that's exactly what they did because the bodies were black, Ain't no fucking way y'all let 49 bodies pile up and said y'all coming for them at 50, right? So again, and the thing is this, that y'all should have came for them at 1. But, and of course you might say, well, that's just inner city gang violence. That's just what happened to the little kid. And I mean, technically, new footage of this guy rap. And so look at this. This is what I'm saying. Yes. RICO law is still unconstitutional, but I don't hear no conservatives complaining about it. Right? Again, it's the Maxwell Silver Hammer story, just a joke on how people can be politically divided over anything. So Young Thug is facing additional felony charges after investigators discovered drugs and guns while raiding his Buckwood apartment. And here's the thing, though, man's 140 pounds at 6'3". So I realize I need to lose some weight. Let's see. It says good note to end. Oh shit. Okay, so I kind of switched up the order because I thought it wasn't a good note to end. Let me see if I could just quickly go through this, see what this is, because I just want to keep you all abreast, like we sharing chicken, you know what I'm saying? So let's see. This was actually interesting lawyer conversation. So this guy is an informed lawyer. He says, aren't you supposed to redact the address? He's still innocent until proven guilty. Someone should proudly let Young Thug legal team know about this. You don't know how this works, do you? Admittedly, I don't. Care to explain? So it's the public record. Literally anyone could right now go to the website and pull the record. There's neither a law nor a rule that demands that the media obfuscate it when it's sitting on a government-owned public-facing website. So I can pay a background check you and get similar personal information. That issue isn't if the info is accessible, is that an organization used the platform to spread that information. So isn't that doxing? Land ownership is a public record, isn't it? It is. Basically it's a long, nice little legal conversation between, I think it's 2 black people. I'm not too sure. But this guy's a black guy, a black lawyer. He's a black journalist. He says, so I provide background information, you get personal information. The issue isn't in the info is accessible, blah, 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 land. He's like, it is. There are, however, some caveats. Young Thug is a public figure as defined under Gertz versus Roberts Welsh, 1974. You and I are not. That changes the risk for a publication when there's a question about malice in a libel case, and by extension, a question of harassment. Doxing, as you put it, is not illegal. If a record is public, hell, even if it's privately but legally obtained and sometimes illegally so, it can be published. The question is whether the purpose is harassment or public interest, and the standard is law for celebrities. At this point, it's more of a Twitter policy question. Are they following something against their TOS? Really? Show me. And he shows the terms of service. And it goes, you may not publish or post another person's private information without their express authorization and permission. We also prohibit threatening or exposing private information or incentivizing others to do so. In addition, you may not share private videos, so and so, without their consent. We got it at the same time. It's the last part, the newsworthy part, that I think applies here. If the address of Thug's home is newsworthy, and I think it is, then Twitter's TOS has an exception. I admit to you both, though, this is an edgy case. You have a point. On this impressive, this whole comment happened on Twitter.com. I appreciate it. It feels like Charlie Kelly at the lawyer's office talking about the nuance of bird law. I don't know what that is. No, for real, this is first Twitter that I've seen that it's actually talking to real people. I like to serve. This is really an interesting case. I'm a journalist working on this story and have been for months. So I was like, yeah, this is a good note to end, but I didn't think. But anyway, kids table for real. Let's see what this is. Yo, something I do want to write. Damn, I gotta freaking hurry up. I got like 10 minutes. Well, not really, because his mother's always late. She black, so I'm joking. They get terrified every time an iconic black leader emerges with so much influence. Oh, so they're talking about YSL or Young Thug. They get terrified every time an iconic black leader emerges with so much influence, respect, power, and appeal that they throw some bullshit charges together to lock him up and slow the movement down. Look at America's history. It's been a pattern for 100+ years. And let's see what this is. Quickly. But yeah, this is basically, like I said, Maxwell Silverhammer. You guys go check out the song. It's interesting. Let me see what the comments are. Great show. Amilcar Cabral is good reading too. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Marx in them. So he's like, what do you think needs to be changed in a way black men are policed? Leave that up with the critics and the laws and all that other shit. We having fun. We iced out. We having money. That's how we doing it. You know?
So you feel like it's not the artist's place to speak on social issues?
No.
Yeah. So this is Young Thug in 2014. Obviously, you're not going to necessarily agree with it, but this is the last one I wanted to end on, which is Candace got you unsafe. And of course, in the wake of this Buffalo shooting, you know, maybe you could feel unsafe. Who cares? But this is the quote unquote revolutionaries. These are the people that are going to lead you to liberation. Let's see what this is. Candace Owens shows up, the Black Lives Matter co-founder, home to ask questions and BLM funding.
Do a live. This is insane. In real time right now, I am watching Patrice Cullors do a live claiming that I went to her property and demanded to speak to her. And she's, I only I can describe it as she sounds like she's really scared. We're working on a documentary talking about all the funding pertaining to Black Lives Matter. Obviously, we know that Patrice and a lot of the founders purchased $1 million homes in white neighborhoods. They also purchased a Black Lives Matter property. So we went to the property and asked if there was anyone that we could speak to, very politely, by the way. We've got cameras in tow, so there's no way she could, it's all on camera. And we just said, is there anyone we can speak to? Nobody asked us to leave.
Yeah, so, I mean, you guys could play it later. But yeah, I think eventually you hear Patrice crying.
And have created an incredibly dangerous environment for me. This morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house.
Yeah, it's just, ugh. And she's like, I'm waiting on my family. I'm waiting on is anybody safe? And, you know, and it's like, but like, on the one hand, you got to realize that people can kill you this way. You know, people can show up to your property under the guise of one thing and then another guise. But look at this right here. So somebody says, where are the think pieces? BLM co-founder Patrice Cullors admitted that she lied when she denied using the group's $6 million LA property only for official business, as she revealed that she hosted parties there, right? And it's like, what think piece is necessary? If folk don't know academia is for partying, then they weren't paying attention to W.B. Du Bois and Trotsky. So Trotsky is this white boy. I heard about him a long time ago, where it was like his whole shit was just partying. But like Du Bois, if y'all don't know, man, Du Bois used to get buns. Okay, like people say Dr. King got buns. Du Bois used to get buns. I have, like I said, my school gave me a free biography for him, and yeah, he like, and it'd be white women, but he was getting like a lot of people. It comes to a point. It's like one of my favorite passages, because I was a high schooler when I read his book. But one of my favorite passages where they were saying that, you know, Du Bois knew how to lay pipe. You know what I'm saying? You know, like women were asked, why are you sleeping with this guy if you know he's married? And they're like, yo, he know how to do it. You know? Yeah, you know, part of me was like, you know, back in those days, I was like, yeah, that's how I want to be, you know? Yeah. So y'all see me at the protest though. Shout out to AAPRP, right? So I'm trying to tell y'all that I don't go to these protests. Cause AAPRP, I don't really like them, but they used to tell us, don't go to protests, organize, you know? So this is Darren Seals. He was telling us, he's like, you know, BLM is rich and all that kind of stuff. And I said, look, Ellie used to tell me, don't believe the hype in Public Enemy fashion. It's not even that this gentleman told us long ago, is that he died thinking it could ever be different. You know, the white man already knew he could buy Negroes. And it's how most of us got here. You understand? Most of us got here as property. Most of us got here as property. You know, my family from Jamaica. Well, yeah, a lot of them from Jamaica. A lot of us were exchanged goods. Okay? White man knows he could buy you because he did it already. All right? So y'all check out this Darren Sales video. Like I said, I probably have to pack up and all that kind of stuff. But Y'all check out the Darren Sales video. Y'all check out the Candace Owens video. But also realize, y'all check out the video of the gentleman talking about their first sexual experiences with older women, all that kind of stuff. It's all in the link. Just click on the link where it says The Enemies Within. You could see everything that's there. I want y'all to understand, okay, that don't believe don't believe the hype. These people are like, it's all a game, because you're not gonna, like, you can't win. You know, you can't organize your way out of the nation. Okay? The only kind of organization that could beat the nation is the organization that's attacking the nation. And these people are not going to attack the nation. You understand? And as long as they're not going to attack the nation, they're going to work with the nation. They're going to work with the nation. And that's all you have to understand. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. I'm going to have to go feed my kid and all that crap. But thanks everybody for coming through. Appreciate y'all for joining me today. And until next week, Shem Yem Hotep, Anku Ja Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Netre.